Okay, today I'm going to show you what to do if you don't have a lot of money and can't keep buying ink cartridges, as these machines keep pissing out waste ink. So this is only really feasible if you don't really super care about color quality, because I'm sure there could be some variations. You just want to print and knock stuff out. So first example, I have my Maki JB3160. And if you can see here, nothing too complicated. I've simply taken an ordinary club soda water bottle. I like these because they're nice and thick and the solvent doesn't seem to affect them. These are usually about $1 each. I've taken the cap and I measured the thickness of the hose and got the closest drill bit I could for a nice tight fit, so there's no air escaping. So obviously here's a new cap. I keep unpunctured caps over here so I can pull off the ink and cap them. Obviously air will allow the ink to start solidifying. So today I'm going to go ahead and put the magenta back in the cartridge, because I have a super old machine and it has a wicking problem, as it is somewhat known as, and it just drains the ink out. So what I like about these bottles is they can hold a full 2 440 cartridges, so 880 milliliters these things can eat if you do have a wicking problem as well. This will be able to eat the whole thing and you won't have spillage on the floor like I've had before. I also keep just another bottle that I use for waste when I'm doing capping station cleans and I'm using the cleaning solution, or I actually use acetone, which I have heard can damage some parts, but I've been pretty lucky and fortunate to have success with it. So whenever I'm doing capping station cleans or I'm using cleaning fluid, I obviously don't want that to get into the ink. I want to keep it as pure as possible. So I put all 4 tubes in this, just with the cap off, just stick them in there, and then it pisses in this thing. And when I'm all done, I clean the hoses off and put them back in their bottles. So these are some things that you'll most likely need. No longer need that. Paper towel is always important when doing stuff like this, just in case. I like to have a scale handy so I can measure the amount of ink that I'm putting in the cartridges and measure both cartridges, so that when I'm done, they most likely are close to even. So that's what the scale is for. Common syringe, and this is a special contraption I've made. This is an e-cigarette, I guess you would call it a filling needle. It's got a blunt edge, so it doesn't actually have a syringe edge. And it seemed to fit the tube pretty perfect. So I've actually super glued that in there. And it's actually fortunately done pretty well. So I've been lucky with that. Cleaning solution for when we're done. We need to clean everything up. Filter, which is normal coffee filter, plastic cup, and rubber band to attach the coffee filter to the cup to filter the ink, to make sure that what has solidified won't get in the print head and clog my print head up. Okay, so I went ahead and attached the coffee filter to the plastic cup. Rubber band seems to help nicely for that. With a large amount of ink, which this probably is more than this cup's worth, I'll most likely usually do 2 or 3 cups just to make sure I can pour the whole thing out, and then measure the weight minus the cup so I can see how much liquid I have to divvy up into the 2 cartridges. So at this point, pretty self-explanatory. Just slowly start filling up the filter with the ink. It's not a perfect system, so the filter will actually suck it up and carry some over, so you have some drippage. That's why I've laid banded material down everywhere because you don't want to mess up any carpet if you're working in the house like I do. So I'm going to keep filling this up, and then I'll be right back. Well, a valuable lesson has been learned here today. As you can see, this is not the same workspace that I left you with. And I have done this hundreds of times and never had this happen. But this cheap-ass cup got ate away by the ink, thus pouring all my ink onto my substrate. This just shows my point of laying down cheap-ass banner material so you don't destroy your carpet and get divorced. So, excuse the fan, but it kind of stinks like solvent ink in here. So, change to the previous listing. Go ahead and just dedicate some nice glass cups to this process and clean them out and reuse them. Maybe go to Goodwill and get some cheap cups. So, okay, we're going to speed up this process here because, as you can see, I have quite the mess to clean up. Once again, that does reiterate my point on keep lots of paper towels around, and you know, it's not a perfect process. Maybe perfect it yourself. This just gets you going. I've done it hundreds of times and never had the problem with the cheap ass cup. If it wasn't for the cheap ass cup, this would have never happened. Anyway, so we've got our filtered ink, we've got our air cartridges. As you can see, multiple times I've kept track of the grams of ink. I believe full cartridge, when I contact the manufacturer, is like 725 grams. Don't hold me to that. Basically, we're just going to split the ink into both cartridges because they're both pretty empty. Like I said, you can measure them with the scale, measure the ink, and do it perfectly. I'm just going to hurry up and get the hell ass done. Okay, we took our syringe with our special needle on it, and we pulled the liquid through. I don't really like pulling all the way to the top because there was another mishap where the syringe broke, and there went ink everywhere, and try to learn from that mistake just like this one. So, take the ink, take the little needle nose, and your cartridge. Has a little rubber, I don't know, I guess you would call it a orifice. Screw the technical terms. Take this, shove it in that, slowly push, stop before you get to the air because you don't want to put air in the cartridge. Another point, when you are pulling ink out of the cup with the needle, it's a small ass needle, so it doesn't suck very fast, so you got to give it time to catch up, or else your syringe will break. Alright, here's the needle in there. Once again, don't pull or really push too much while it's in there. There was one other time where the needle popped out and was spraying ink everywhere. So that's why instructional videos are nice. And I'm the guinea pig for all you to not do what I've done. Push slowly. Once again, it's coming through a small needle, so it's not going to want to go fast, so you don't want to put too much pressure on it. Just take your time. Okay, like I said, once it starts getting close to the bottom, stop it before you push a whole bunch of air into the cartridge. I even like to pull back up on the syringe and draw the air out if any got in there until I see some ink. So at this point, let's just pretend that we're done. Woohoo, we filled up both cartridges with the remaining ink that's left. What would be wise, and I'm saving up to get one myself, is a bulk ink system so that I can just take the ink, filter it out in my glass cup, which we've learned today, and pour it back into the bulk bottle and avoid this whole lengthy pain in the ass process. Hope you have better luck than I do. Thanks.